Another glorious day living in the cabin. I'll let you guys know that I did move. Obviously, you can tell from the background and me talking about it and some videos and everything like that. I have moved to the cabin. That's one of the reasons why there hasn't been a video in about 12 days. The move has been a bit crazy, but we're here. And we are doing a video that was requested during my stream. The video requested is more of a town hall style video where we kind of ask the Palia community. But before we get into all that, thank you guys so much for voting on the Steven plot. There was an inside joke with my community about a fish that I caught. It's an ancient fish. I was not paying attention during my stream, and it was my first starred ancient fish ever, and we've named him Steven. And throughout decorating my plot ever since then, we've placed Steven in different places. He was on top of a bed, he was in the kitchen cooking, he was in random places of my plot, but then he deserved a plot all on his own. And then while I was streaming, they were like, hey, upload Steven. There was like 200 people in the stream, and they said upload Steven to the tour board, and I did. And Steven did very well. Some people think it was a slap in the face and disrespectful to the Palia community. That is not the case at all. There was no ill intent to upload Steven. There was no disrespect towards anybody. It was an inside joke with the community, and I stand for it. But with all that being said, let's go ahead and get into the video. In today's video, I would like to discuss the in-game content, or the lack of in-game content in Palia. If you don't know what in-game content is in MMOs, if you don't know what an MMO is, it's a massive multiplayer online game. Felt like I might need to clarify that one. And this is a MMO Lite. Palia is an MMO Lite. In MMOs, in-game content refers to the activities, challenges, and content that players engage in after reaching the maximum level or completing the main storyline. This content is typically designed to keep players engaged and challenged even after they progress through the bulk of the game. Now, the current issue with Palia, and a lot of people are demanding more storyline, more questing, more content. We've only played the prologue of the game. We've only played the very beginning. With Elderwood's coming up, it is going to be the continuation of the story, kind of getting into the main quest line. No longer the prologue, the main quest line. So that kind of made me think, and others think, are they going to be adding in-game content? And this is mainly for the experienced players, the OG Palians, people that have been playing since day one, or they've just grinded their ass off and they've completed majority of the game. So here are some current in-game content that are in other MMOs. Raids and dungeons, which will never happen to Palia. High difficulty group content that requires coordination, skill, and often the best gear available. These can be multi-phase encounters with complex mechanics. Like I said, this will never happen to Palia. Raids and dungeons, I don't think are going to be something implemented. There could be a dungeon-esque thing later on down the road. However, to this extent, no, because certain gear, everything like that, I think that's out the window. We've thrown around the idea in stream of raids and dungeons, but I don't think it's going to happen. PvP, the absolute narrow for Palia, which is competitive modes where players can battle each other, often with rank systems, special rewards, and tournaments. We've gone in depth in this in the stream. I think one day there'll be PvP. Not to what you guys are thinking. Not out there with fighting with swords and No. I think that there's going to be some sort of player versus player experience, very similar to Hot Pot, like mini games. Most importantly, mini games will be added to Palia so you could do these daily tasks. And Hot Pot was such an amazing addition to the game, but it is PvP. You're going against other players. Now, everyone does win to a certain extent. They don't win as much as the player that legitimately wins, but there is some player versus player. So yes, mini games. I do think mini games will be added in, but I don't think there'll be combat PvP. Gear progression. Obtaining the best possible gear, often through challenging content, crafting, or special events. This can involve grinding for materials, rare items, or upgrading existing gear. Now, I do think this can happen. I do think they can add gear progression because they already have it. We have to craft better gear as we go further and further to the game to get better and better materials. I feel like gear progression is some in-game content we will see. Achievements and titles. Completing specific goals or challenges to earn achievements, titles, or other recognition within the game. We do have achievements. I enjoy those. I try to go for as much as possible. Now, I do think titles need to be implemented into the game right below your name, along with the community that you're in. I do think that'd be really cool. It adds more towards just player identity, and also a way to flex that you've completed an achievement. So if you're a master farmer, it could say master farmer. Or if you caught all the fish, you could be the master trader. I waited a minute to do that joke. But yes, I do think collecting titles could be something added for in-game content. Story expansions, additional storylines, quests, or zones, adventure zones, that are only accessible to players who've reached the end game. Now, this is something I am very happy to discuss in my streams, especially for Palia. Now, I do think once you've completed certain parts of the story, it should unlock new zones. So I do think, and I do wish that to continue into the Elderwoods, you've had to complete the bundles that are in Kilima. It unlocks the Elderwoods for you so you can go into that area. I think it gives you a reason to, one, stay on track with the story, and two, it does cater kind of to the experienced players. You learn how to play Palia, so it preps you for this adventure zone. And I do think that should be the continuation with the game. You complete everything in Kilima Bahari, unlocks the Elderwoods, and then so on and so forth. You do everything in the Elderwoods and unlocks another adventure zone later on down the road, maybe another year. Yeah, I think that would be perfect. Social and economic activities, managing guilds, participating in in-game economy, or taking on leadership roles within the player community. We've talked about this one in particular a good bit. Social features, guilds, communities, everything in that area. There was an announcement in an article a while ago saying there's going to be a community update. Even a Palia devlog at one point said there's going to be a community update. We need it. We need a community update so bad, but we haven't gotten one yet. But managing guilds and participating in in-game activities could be something superb in Palia. I think if it's done correctly, there are guild quests, community quests, things like that. And it's been brought to my attention. Trust me, I get it. I'm also a solo player in a lot of MMOs, but there are solo guilds where people like to mind their own business and do their own thing without involving other players, but they're in a community or they're in a guild because they know that there might be something that requires group features. It's actually really funny because I used to be involved in one. It was the best guild experience I've ever had because no one bothered anybody. But it was also the most boring guild experience I've ever had. And something that I could see happening in the future, especially in a community sim, which Palia kind of is at the same time along with an MMO light, is community quests and community perks. So I do think that is great in-game content for Palia. In-game content is crucial in keeping long-term players engaged, providing them with new goals to strive for even after completing the main game. And that's where a lot of players were at. They logged in every day. They're like, F it, there's nothing left to do. We're going to play other games until the update comes. But there are hardcore, dedicated Palians like myself that log in every day and have a daily routine since there is no in-game content. Until then, they are filling the void with other things. So I asked that community, the daily Palians, the Dalians, I asked them in my community, what do you do in Palia to pass time? What are your go-to things to do after you've completed everything? Do you play community games? Do you hunt? Do you follow a routine? If so, what is it? Now, one of the coolest things, I want to do an honorable mention to Mellow Teddy. Now, if you don't know who Mellow Teddy is, she is a phenomenal Twitch streamer. I highly recommend her. She is practically the exact opposite of me. She's very soft-spoken, very polite. I'm very loud. Mel is amazing. I highly recommend her. She was playing house bingo pretty much with her community where they had bingo cards and they were going to houses to see if they can find something. The first person to get bingo was like, bingo. I thought that was genius, and that was another thing that sparked this video. We were talking about it at my stream and everyone wanted to be like, what is some things that we could do? Which this then eventually led to in-game routine. What is your daily routine? And we got some responses. Age said, what do I do in Palia to pass time? After tending to my garden, I either run about my plot aimlessly looking for ways to improve it, or I go out and mine iron Bahari. I run a usual path for myself and find it relaxing to just mine. Calling out Palium is also how I socialize most. I do that. I do that a lot. I run around and I smack rocks. Briosaurus said, the first thing I always do when I log in is collect my rummage piles, lucky coins, and other little gifty things that you can get once per IRL day. Next, I always stop to work on my garden. Gotta get them potato dollars, dollar bills. After that, I like to work on relationships because I tend to slack in that department, not so different from IRL. So I prefer to get that out of the way. And then I usually spend the rest of my time farming or doing plot tours. Other than that, I just work on my plot and swing by the underground for some hot pot. That's pretty much me. My daily routine at this point is very similar to this. I get my dailies, I get my lucky coin, everything like that. And then I do hunt a good bit. I go get iron and I play a lot of hot pot. Briosaurus is very similar with what I do. Maleficent Elf said, I have a routine. I log in, crops, flowers, and then I collect from the gardener, the kitsu, and the silverwing. Then I'm off to my favorite pastime, fishing. I hunt and forage. I cook with the kitsu gang 2 or 3 days a week. I always make room for at least once a day for hot pot. Every time I try to build with the builder things. See, you guys are starting to see a pattern here. We're kind of living that NPC life. I do want to talk about Zen Life's comment. Zen Life commented, meditate. I go to one of the shrines in Kilma or sit on a cliff in Bahari where there's a good view. The lighthouse area is perfect. I sit cross-legged and meditate for a while. I actually love it. If Shane ended up with a guild store selling incense, candles, and singing bowls, we could customize a room with meditative tools. Maybe even Singularity 6, incorporate a renown reward or some form of experience for sitting still for a bit. It could also recharge our health bar rather than needing to eat. Then they said they kind of like just hanging out after shooting some choppas, which I do like that. I do like the idea that some players, and I've seen it a lot in MMOs, is they go sit and they just stare at the landscape. That's awesome to me. I love that. Lindsay said, I love to play with people in my community, help them with some quests or with their homes. I also really enjoy trying to complete collections. This is really cool because a lot of the older players, a lot of the people that have been playing since alpha or beta, they have become more chefs to the community. They've brought them in, they've added them to communities, and they've taught them how to play Palia or how to do things. Once you've played a lot of an MMO or you've been involved in an MMO, you kind of take on those natural leadership roles where you see a Bambi or a new player and you're like, hey, let's do this. I can help you along the way. I can teach you how to Palia. So this leaves me to ask you guys, and I really am interested to know, what would you add into the game? What would you add into Endgame? If you're an experienced Palia player, what would you add in that could help people in their daily activity or the day-to-day grind? Or what would you add in for the more experienced Palian players? Let me know in the comments down below. I'm very interested to hear what you have to say. And while you're down there commenting, be sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you know when I upload a video. If you know the exact moment I upload a video, be sure to join the Discord. The Discord is a super happy and fun place. But if you're watching this right now, this very second, there is a chance that I'm streaming on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/Perzival, Perzival. Pretty sure that's how you spell my name. I stream Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The exact same times that I upload videos, which is on Tuesdays and Saturdays at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Chat is just like Discord. Everyone is super happy and friendly. So come on in. The water's fine. We can talk about this video, or you can come in and tell me you hate my face. And you can totally do that because I agree. It is busted. And last but not least, be sure to follow me on all my socials, my social media. I have X or Twitter, Threads, Instagram, TikTok, all that. I got all that in the doohickey down below, so be sure to go and check that out. But yeah, that is the video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.